Good morning, CaneSport. It's September the 5th, 2023. I'm Gary Ferman, the publisher of CaneSport.com, joined this morning by our managing editor, Matt Shodell, and Stephen Wagner, as we discuss the news of the day. Presented today by Bird Dogs, your headquarters for the coolest clothing on earth. And we're going to get a little bit into that later, but I'm wearing my Bird Dogs polo here this morning. I'm also wearing my shorts with the liners that Matt Shodell won't wear because he doesn't do liners. Steven, before we get to the news of the day, we got this new sponsor, Bird Dogs. It's Lululemon on steroids, okay? They make the most phenomenal clothing, these beautiful, great fabric shirts. They make shorts with liners. They make hats. They make polos. Like look at this. Look at this. This is my new polo. You know what this polo is called? We'll talk about it later. If you go on the website, birddogs.com, and you buy this shirt, it's called Gary's Anatomy. How about that?
I'm a fan of Bird Dogs. I've got a few Bird Dog shirts here and there.
Oh, do you really? It's great. Great
I'm a fan of them. Comfortable, breathes easy.
Yeah.
Looks great. Looks great out in public. Like you said, man, Lululemon on steroids.
I love it. So, but Matt Shodell, he doesn't do liners. So I had this whole pack. I got this Bird Dog stuff. I said, wow, this stuff is great. I called him up. I had to listen. I have a co-host on Good Morning CaneSport. His name's Matt Shodell. Would you guys do me a favor and send him a package of Bird Dogs merchandise? Of course we will. So they start flooding Matt's house with all these products that they sent me. I'm assuming he got a Gary's Anatomy polo as well. And he calls me up. He says, bro, I don't do liners, and he gave all the clothes to his kids. How about that? But we'll talk more about Bird Dogs later, but we're so happy to have Bird Dogs as a sponsor of Good Morning CaneSport now. But we have so much news of the day to talk about, and let me start out. We put Matt in the lab this week, as we talked about yesterday, and he had a phenomenal story on the website yesterday. Well, there's another one today, and today's subject is an inside look at the run game versus Miami of Ohio, and we are trying to answer if the Miami Hurricanes rushing attack is for real. Massive story on the website this morning. I'm not going to give the entire thing away. I'm going to let you guys read it, but I am right now going to turn the floor over to Matt Shodell to tell us what he found when he studied the Miami Hurricanes rushing attack.
So obviously they rushed for 250 yards, and they split the carries between 4 different guys. So everything, statistically was great. We heard Shannon Dawson yesterday talking about how the defense was effectively daring him to run the ball, daring him to run it. Can't throw downfield against the Miami, Ohio remarkable secondary the way they were playing it. Have to just throw a little dink and dunk passes and only run the ball because that's all they would give them. So fine, I could buy that, no problem. But I did break down the runs of 10 plus yards just to see how they made them happen and if they were legitimate runs in terms of the Miami offensive line just executed perfectly. Were they, pulling guards? Were they doing anything in particular that looked really interesting that they had discovered, because this is a hybrid air raid attack. It's not supposed to be let's line up with 1 or 2 receivers and just stack up, 7 blockers, and run the ball. But there we were with a minute left in the first half, and Miami's running the ball, and 2 of the 9 runs that went for double-digit gains were in the last minute when the other team was basically going to prevent because, hey, that's what they were giving us. Minute left in the half, they're giving us the run. We'll take the run. And you know what? It worked because Miami, Ohio is a small defense. Their defensive tackles look like safeties in that final minute when you look at the clips we have on the tape this morning. But anyway, look, I know everyone doesn't want to read the full breakdown that I did on each play with each, and we have a clip of each play, all 9 of them. But I do a final verdict, summing up what you can see and what I wrote. And of the 9 final verdicts, only 1 was executed perfectly, which means the running back hit the hole correctly, every lineman blocked it correctly, everything went perfectly. There was a run, for instance, where Henry Parrish was designed to go behind Cam McCormick between the left guard and the center. And Henry Parrish decided the hole wasn't big enough, even though the hole was there. Decided it wasn't big enough. So just on his own, sprinted to the right, immediately faced with 3 Miami, Ohio defenders in perfect position and no blockers in front of him. And Henry Parrish just ducks his head to the inside and then goes to the outside, and all the defenders fall down, and he gets a touchdown. Does that happen against Texas A&M? Does it happen against Florida State or Clemson? I don't think so. But that's what happened. Another play, Jalen Rivers, when you watch the clip, clearly didn't understand what the play call was and went the wrong way to block, But it still wound up as a double-digit run because the defense was, this. I thought the Miami, Ohio defense played awful compared to what I expected them to do because, I think they had 7 returning starters. They were one of the better defenses in a bad conference, but still one of the better defenses. But they were just so undersized. And maybe it's a tribute just to how big and powerful the Miami offensive line is that this defense just had lost its spirit. They weren't even pursuing sometimes. They just felt like, I can't, we're getting beat up and we don't like it, and they gave up a little bit. So I think that sort of helped Miami. And look, there's going to be teams that don't give up when Miami's beating on them. It's great that Miami's finally got an offensive line that can beat on somebody. That's something to celebrate for sure. But as you look at these clips, again, 1 out of the 9 was a legitimate, man, we killed it run. Now, with that said, what they did do, which is a little weird, you don't see this really in an air raid offense ever, is they took 2 offensive linemen, put them in tight end uniforms, which is Samson Okunlola and Matthew McCoy. They attached them to opposite ends of the line, and they also used a blocking tight end, Cam McCormick, who clearly is only planning to be a blocker for them. They really have no interest in him even running routes, and based on this game at least.
Oh, I think you'll see him run routes.
Yeah, but based on this, I'm saying based on this game, what we saw. This is this game's film, Gary. I'm talking about what we saw. They had no interest in throwing to Cam McCormick in this game. Okay, now, yeah, of course they could scheme different things up for different people.
He didn't get a single target, fair.
Yeah, and he didn't even run routes.
Yeah.
So anyway, so they got 8 blockers, right? You got 2 offensive linemen that are pseudo tight ends, a tight end who's only blocking the whole game, and 5 offensive linemen. You got 8 blockers in an air raid attack. Like, when does that ever happen? To me, that's Mario Cristobal. That's Mario Cristobal saying to Shannon Dawson, "This is what we're doing," And Shannon Dawson's like, "You're the boss." And you know what? It worked. It worked because Tyler Van Dyke wasn't 100%. Let's face it. I mean, they could say he's fine all they want. I mean, he clearly. When you saw Emory Williams throw that pass, just the one pass, it was like, wow, that was a really hard thrown ball because Tyler was lofting them all with great touch. Don't get me wrong, and you can do what Tyler's doing successfully when you're a great quarterback because you anticipate where you need to put the ball, whether you can throw it hard or not. If you know you can't throw it hard, you can still anticipate where it's got to go at what point, and based on where the defense is. It's fine. But that's just a fact. Tyler was
against Miami of Ohio.
Against Miami, Ohio, and maybe against other teams. We'll see.
Yeah, I don't know that that's going to fly with Texas A&M, but Tyler's fingers should be considered.
But the best part of the press conference was when Shannon Dawson, who clearly has looked at the same video that you guys can look at on the website, he knows exactly what they did, obviously way better than I do or any of you probably do. But when he looked at the camera at the press conference yesterday, he said, yeah, we're a running team. Other teams have to respect the run. We're going to establish the run first. That's basically telling me they're not going to try to run the ball that much. They did this in this game knowing that Miami, Ohio is a tiny defensive line and they could do this all they want. And they're hoping that other teams will come in and stack the box and they can do what they want to do, which is throw the ball, So we'll see if Texas A&M takes the bait. I thought that was kind of funny. It's
going to be a little different this week.
And Lance Guidry has something to prove too on his side of the ball. Because Lance Guidry, let's face it, and I'm not going to talk about this for too long. I'll just mention it in 2 sentences. He never got a chance as a Power 5 coach until now, and he felt he should have had one before now. And now this is his chance to say to everybody who wouldn't take a chance on him, yeah, my defense is weird. Yeah, I got defensive ends running in coverage and stuff. But, look what I can do against a really good offense. Because people are bashing me on YouTube yesterday, they played Notre Dame. How can you say he hasn't faced a top offense and top receivers and top quarterback? Well, Notre Dame last year was 97th in the country in passing offense. I understand they have 4-star receivers on their team, but they still were not a good passing offense with a great quarterback. This Texas A&M team, to me, based on the opener, looks like a 5-star quarterback and probably 3 or 4 and 5-star receivers, legit, on this team. So, if Lance Guidry can do something against them to hold them down, I'm all in. I'm all in if they can hold this team to under 21 points.
Well, that's not going to be easy. You know, I've talked about this. I think you're going to have to get into the 30s, certainly, to win this game. I think it's going to be a scoring contest. I think that both teams have very good offenses, and Bobby Petrino is an elite offensive coach. And, you know, Miami's going to have to score to win. And to score, they're not going to be able to run the ball all the time. They're going to have a passing game as well. So, also on the website today, you have reports from all of the press conferences yesterday, Mario Cristobal, Shannon Dawson, Lance Guidry. And there were a couple interesting takeaways, I'll call them, because we did have 5 takeaways from the press conference on the website. And one of the big keys that came up, guys, is Mario Cristobal talked about he wants his defense playing fast and free, and, you know, talked about how that is going to be vital to slowing down Texas A&M. Matt, you've looked, you know, again, and Stephen, we will get to you. We got plenty of stuff to talk to you about too. But this is Matt.
Don't ever go to Stephen. That'd be great, Gary. Just end the show without ever even talking to Stephen.
No, but I want to stay on the subject.
I'll write 4 extra stories if you do that.
You've looked at the defense, you know, fast and free. What do you think that means?
I think that Mario was just throwing words around. That Mario press conference yesterday was like, how many just like idioms can I throw into a single press conference that don't mean anything, you know? I mean, there was nothing of substance whatsoever that he said in the entire press conference. He was punishing the press corps for all our I
thought he was very nice and very...
He was very nice. He's a nice guy. I mean, he's a nice, very personal guy. But there's ways to throw shade at the media. And the best way to throw shade at the media is to give them absolutely nothing. Not a single quote. There was not a single quote in that entire press conference that was worthy of note. There was nothing. So what did he say? Free and clear? Is that the laundry detergent that he was referring to? What did he say again?
No, free and fast.
Free and fast. That's a different laundry detergent. Right. Listen, all free and fast means is that guys understand what they're supposed to do. You know, that's all it means. It means nothing. But I can't. There's nothing to talk. Like, there's nothing to talk about. I can't talk for more than another 10 seconds about the Mario press conference. There was no substance in it. I'm not just going to make stuff up.
Well, I mean, I think I assume what he's talking about is they're going to have to get after them. I mean, I think that when you look at Bobby Petrino and the way he coaches offense and the weapons that they have on the offensive side of the ball for Texas A&M, to me, and I look at Lance Guidry's defense, I would treat almost every down like third down. Now, you got to be able to stop the running game, obviously, but they're going to be 60-40 at least pass to run. Petrino likes to air it out, and he's got a good 5-star quarterback there. And, you know, Lance Guidry's so effective on third down that I'm not so sure I wouldn't treat almost every down on defense like a third down and just unleash all of my schemes on them and try to disrupt. What kind
of defensive coordinator are you?
Listen, he had the best third down defense in the country last year.
Yeah.
The best. And we saw they went 2 for 12 on opening night.
He had the best third down defense in the country last year. The prior year, he was like number 47. The year before that, he was number 50. He had never been in the top 40 before last year. Like, not that there's anything wrong with that, but like, that's not. Have you
ever seen a more negative human being in your life?
Let's not make stuff up. Like, he's been number one
everything's
forever. What do you want from me? Like, treat every down like it's third down? What kind of nonsense is that?
Yeah. What I mean by that is unleash the scheme. Like, you know, a lot of defensive coaches, they'll play it relatively straight on first and second down. Then they unleash their blitz schemes and coverage schemes on third down. I'm not sure they can wait till third down in this game because Bobby Petrino will treat almost every down like third down. That's what I'm trying to say.
Okay, but when you're not understanding
effectively for you, Matt, but Stephen, I know understands exactly what I'm talking about.
Later this week, you know, I'm going to break down every single defensive play, and I've already looked at the tape. I haven't broken it down yet.
We can't wait.
And what I will tell you is, if he did what he does on third down every single down, it would be a disaster.
I said almost every single down.
It would be a disaster. It works on third down because of the situation. He like if you know that you're going to get a defensive lineman covering a slot receiver every single play, which is what he does on a lot of third downs.
No,
it's not that hard to figure out what to do.
Matt, you don't do the same thing every play.
Correct, but that's what I'm trying to tell you. There's only so many things that he can do on. There's 10 third downs or 12 third downs or 15 third downs or 20 third downs in a game, whatever it is, right? There's 70 plays in a game. If you take those 20 and you want to, he's got, let's say 10 or 15 things he likes to do on third down. If now you're just doing those 10 or 15 things over and over again, 7 times a game, it doesn't really work. Like at some point you have to play certain kinds of defenses that will give up 3 yards, 4 yards, 5 yards. And then bam, you got to take that chance and get a sack or get a negative play on a 3rd and 1 or a 3rd and 2. You just take the chance. You got to dial up plays. You got to be unpredictable. You can't, playing every down like a third down, that's called being predictable, quite honestly. If you're taking a chance every third down, you're being predictable.
It's called being unpredictable.
Correct.
If you're in base defense on 1st and 2nd downs, that's called being predictable.
Yeah, no, I didn't say to play base
unleashing
defense.
all of your blitz schemes and stuff on a play-by-play basis and not waiting for third down, because I don't believe you can afford to wait till third down with Bobby Petrino calling plays on the other side. That's my opinion.
I understand, but there's not enough plays to go around. You'll be repeating your plays over and over again. There's third down packages. It's called money down on offense for a reason.
Yeah, I don't think you could play money down ball with Bobby.
Why doesn't the offense play money down every down? Why don't they do that? It makes no sense what you're saying. Why doesn't the offense play like a third down every down?
Doesn't care whether it's 1st down, 2nd down, or 3rd down. He is attacking in most cases. Now, he will mix in the run, no argument. But this is a guy that loves to attack through the air. And I don't think you can afford to just scheme against that on 3rd down only. I think that you have to be aggressive on 1st and 2nd downs too, especially 1st down, and try to get them in some bad down and distance situations.
I mean, look, you have to, at the end of the day, you have to make an offense earn it. That's just how I feel. I mean, and you can't give him stuff for free. And on 3rd down, you're taking chances a lot. He gambles on a lot of 3rd downs, and that's players love that. Take the chance, try to get a sack, try to get a disruptive play on a 3rd down and make them punt. But when you're doing that on 1st and 2nd down, taking those chances, and they get, if it doesn't, if the offense sees what's there that they want, the one-on-one deep down the field, and the guy's open, it's a touchdown. If it's not there, they can go to some secondary check down play, whatever. But when it's on 3rd down and they take a deep shot and miss, they're punting. You got the ball back. All that takes is one guy breaking free. All it takes is a cornerback being in the right spot. And guess what? He plays a lot of 1 safety high, a lot of 2 safety high, believe it or not. He played more 2 safety than 1 safety high last game, even though it didn't seem like it. So he protects himself, even on 3rd downs. He protects himself on the back end really, really well. But there are gaps he leaves. I'm not going to, divulge all the secrets, but there's gaps he leaves, and you'll see it later in the week on the film. That if you just run the 3rd down defense every time, it's just, there's plays just open constantly, but there's certain ways he can try to protect it once in a while.
The same thing every play. Steven, the hell with waiting till we start talking about recruiting. You've listened to this. You obviously watched the game the other night. You've gotten the exposure now to the schemes of Lance Guidry. Your thoughts on the subject of trying to contain Texas A&M?
All right. Well, I just wanted to go ahead and get a good stretch in before I go on my rant here, because it's my turn to talk for 18 minutes. But yeah, looking at Texas A&M and looking at Bobby Petrino more specifically, I think one thing that's really important to understand with A&M is their roster and their build right now is further along than Miami's. This is that group's 2nd year after Texas A&M brought in that historic recruiting class with, I think, 7 5-star recruits or something like that. So they are loaded with talent on the offensive side, especially. I think their defense is good too, but the offensive side to me is really what stands out. Because Connor Wagner, their quarterback last year, he was a true freshman, and he looked like a true freshman. Yeah, he was a 5-star recruit coming out of high school, and yeah, he was really highly touted, and there were some really big expectations. But, I mean, really all year, A&M never found their quarterback. He never really looked good or comfortable or like he was able to settle in. And, yeah, they were playing against New Mexico, who is a historically just terrible team. I think they won 3 games a season ago or something like that. And they've got a very, very bad defense, really at all levels. They're not very good on the defensive line or their corners or their linebackers or their safeties. So Wigman was kind of able to pick them apart. But I think the biggest key here is you're just going to have to be creative on that side. You're going to have to be creative from a defensive standpoint whenever you're going up against that much talent on the offensive side of the ball, because I do think Texas A&M has more talent on offense than Miami does on defense, outside of say maybe some of their pass rushers, even though I do think Texas A&M's defensive line is very, very good. So this is going to force Lance Guidry to get very creative in the schemes that he uses, which naturally is really what he already does. I mean, Gary, I did see your point about saying, you need to treat every down like it's third down. And Matt, I also get what you're saying in that, well, you can't schematically treat every down like it's third down. But Gary, I got the gist of what you were saying. And that's basically, no, every down needs to have the same intensity of third down. This needs
from a cerebral standpoint, from an X and O standpoint.
Absolutely.
Bobby Petrino will carve you up if you're only going to roll out your wrinkles on third down. He'll carve you up.
Absolutely. But I think one thing that a lot of people
what's he saying to go base defense on first and second down, Gary? There's other things he does on first and second down. You could see it.
That is exactly what you were saying.
No,
it's exactly what I was not saying. But
he can't go base defense at all in this game. There's different stunts and twists.
Why are you disagreeing with me?
He blitz a linebacker. What he does on third down is he's not blitzing a linebacker ever. He's doing weird stuff on third down. I mean, we broke down third downs already.
You saw 5% of his defense the other night. Trust me.
Well, how much percent can he actually run is the question with this team. Yeah. That's what we're going to find out.
Well, we saw what kind of trouble that
5% of his defense. You're saying throw out the 80% and only use the third down part. I'm just telling you, it makes no sense what you said.
No,
I'm not saying to play base defense.
He made it pretty clear that his play sheet is going to be way deeper this week.
Okay, so you're saying he doesn't have a first down playbook for first and 10s, second down and 8 playbook, second down and 3 playbook, third and 3, third and 5, third and 7. He knows exactly what he wants to run. You're saying only use this little piece.
No,
I'm saying that makes no sense.
What I'm saying is defensive coordinators often will play more base or more simplistic schemes on first and second down.
Correct.
And save their juicy stuff for third down.
Yeah, which is
I'm
smart.
saying you cannot afford to do that against Bobby Petrino. Okay. He will carve you up.
So why do you think other people do that? Why do the other coordinators do that, Gary? To get the team into a third down.
Yeah, but you're not going to get away with that against this guy. This guy is attacking from the minute he gets off the bus.
I mean, I disagree. To just use that one portion of your playbook and throw out all the first down and second down stuff you want to run, it's only use third down stuff.
What I'm saying is you can't only scheme third down. You have to scheme first down in this game.
I think I'm seeing a wild disconnect between you two here, and it has just been fantastic to watch. I'm going to address.
Gary wants Lance Guidry to create. He wants Lance Guidry to create a new playbook just for Texas A&M, which maybe he should. Maybe he should. It's the biggest game.
I want him to unleash his playbook on first and second down as well as third down. But that's what I'm saying.
But he has an aggressive play calls for first and second down also, Gary.
Okay, then he'll be fine.
Yeah, I think you're misunderstanding what I'm saying also.
No, I think you're not speaking English.
Well, that's normal for me.
And you're disagreeing for the sport of disagreeing.
No, because he does weird stuff on third downs. So
I want to see weird stuff on first downs. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but he does some weird stuff.
Call it whatever you want. Weird stuff, whatever.
From what I saw, what I've seen on film is he takes more chances on third downs. He still does
weird
stuff. I want him to
take chances on first down too.
He still puts 6 people at the line, 7 people at the line on first down and second down. It's just he does less aggressive stuff on first and second down. He does much more risky stuff. I want to see
aggressive stuff on first down.
You want the risky stuff the whole game. You want the risky stuff the whole game, like the boomer bust plays.
That's why he makes the big bucks. Like he's got to pick and choose what schemes he calls on given plays. I'm not breaking down Bobby Petrino's offense. I got Lamar Thomas for that. We'll do that on the Lamar Thomas show Wednesday night. Lamar Thomas coached under Bobby Petrino at Louisville. He knows Bobby Petrino inside and out. That is going to be a fascinating show, by the way, folks. Make sure Wednesday night you come and watch the Lamar Thomas show because we'll be talking a lot about Bobby Petrino's offense. But go ahead, Stephen.
Honestly, I have no idea what I was going to say anymore. It has been so long since my last thought. I think that train has long left the station. That train left a while ago.
Then let me inject another conversation into this situation that I think we'll all agree on. I was in College Station last year when Miami played Texas A&M, and the one thing that really struck me was the physicality of the football game. They were playing at a physical level unlike anything Miami had seen or experienced in a very long time. And don't ask me to say what the last one was. I'm sure the Alabama game was similar a couple of years ago, whatever. But Miami's players could barely walk leaving the field. I mean, it was unbelievably physical ball game. I'm expecting this to be a physical ball game as well. So Matt, I'll come back to you. I'll take my chances. I probably should just ride the Steven train here, but I'm gonna take my chances here and ask you, can Miami hold up with its new look at the line of scrimmage, certainly on the offensive line and somewhat on the defensive line? Can Miami hold up in a physical ball game against an SEC team?
Yeah, I mean, I said it yesterday. I don't think Texas A&M, like watching their first game, they had a bad year last year, right? They were way worse than people thought. And I think they're not as good as people think they are this year either. I mean, yeah, their offense, I think their quarterback and their receivers are excellent. I'm not so sure the offensive line's as good as people think it will be or might be, I mean, like Miami, they have a freshman right tackle. They have another first-time starter on the offensive line. I wasn't overly impressed by the offensive line of Texas A&M in their first game against a really bad team. So there's going to be opportunities there, like you said, which is, again, why I don't do just third down plays constantly, because there's a chance that you can get pressure with four. There's a chance. I
didn't say there's no such. To me, there can't be such thing as a third down play.
Okay, just let me. Okay, so
every play is.
So I didn't understand what you were saying. Whatever you were saying, I'm over that. But here's what I'm saying: Miami can be successful doing. Okay, I think Miami can get pressure with 4 and 5 consistently against Texas A&M, which will allow them to do certain things to stop these great wide receivers, and that's going to be a must. That's going to be a must. And I also think that when Miami has the ball on offense, that they have the advantage. I don't think that the Texas A&M secondary is that amazing. The big problem is going to be the Texas A&M pass rush. But I think Miami feels confident that if Texas A&M does what they've been doing, which is thinking they can get pressure with 4 and then, playing everyone else behind them, basically, I think Texas A&M's in for a rude awakening. I think this Miami offensive line is better than what Texas A&M is going to give them credit for heading into this game. I think they'll be very surprised. I don't think Miami will be able to run the ball really well in this game, but I do think they'll be able to pass the ball really well in this game. So we'll see. I honestly, if I'm predicting right now, people come back and watch this, I think that Miami throws for over 300 yards, throws for 3+ touchdowns in this game, and I think that they rush for somewhere between 90 and 120 yards in the game. That's my prediction. And I think Miami has a decent chance to win. I really do. This is one of those 50-50 games. Like, I know people want us to say, oh, who's going to win? Miami or Texas A&M. If I honestly thought Texas A&M was going to win, I would say it. I'd say, listen, I think that they're a better team. But I've looked at A&M's first game entirely in the film. I've looked at Miami's first game entirely several times now, the film. And I think that this Miami team, there's no reason they can't win this game at home. And if I was making the betting line, honestly, I would make it an even line, not a +4 or whatever. I mean, it should be an even betting line. Miami's better than people think. They played the best first game against not a great team, but an okay team, that I've seen in a while. Like they really looked like they knew what they were doing on offense and defense. I thought there was gonna be a lot more hiccups with new coordinators and just based off last year and with 41 new players. It looked like a unit on both sides of the ball that really knew what they were doing. They were given a tremendous amount of effort. Even when the game was over, they were still given a tremendous amount of effort. They were up by 28 points in the midway through the third quarter. They're still hustling, gang tackling. Offense is still doing what it can do to run the ball. Guys giving all-out effort. So I think that there's every chance Miami will win this game on Saturday, which I did not think I would be saying. If you asked me that a week ago, I would have said I don't think Miami has a good chance at all of beating Texas A&M. But now that I've looked at this and seen what how they looked, we didn't get a good chance to look at them in fall practice. How Miami looked in this first game has me very encouraged. The more I look at the film, the more I like what I saw. So we'll have to wait and see.
All right, so we'll continue breaking down the Texas A&M game as we move forward this week. So many different areas to take a look at, and you have that to look forward to this week. Before we get into some recruiting stuff, let me take a moment and talk about our sponsor this evening, this morning rather, birddogs.com. And Bird Dogs is a company that simply makes you look good. I've been wearing their clothes. Stephen Wagner, who didn't even know we had the sponsorship, he owns some Bird Dogs. Matt Shodell owns Bird Dogs now, gave some of it to his kids. But, Bird Dogs really has some phenomenal products. They have stretch khaki shorts that are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and the leg. And they gives you a truly sculpted look no matter what your age is, whether you're a young guy like Steven hitting Fort Lauderdale Beach, trying to get a date for Saturday night, or you're an old guy like me, just taking a walk out on the golf course or around the park or whatever. You wear these stretch khaki shorts and you have a truly sculpted look. Bird Dog shorts do the exact same thing that Lululemon shorts do, but they fit way better. Like there's just no comparison between the two lines. As soon as you get yourself some Bird Dog stuff, you will see what I'm talking about. Normal shorts have this like stiff, restricting cotton, not Bird Dogs, man. And they, like I said, they got those liners. So like, basically, if you don't want to wear underwear, you don't have to wear underwear. Okay, we'll cut to the chase, right, Stephen? Like, if you don't want to wear underwear, you don't have to wear underwear. If Stephen's going to the beach and he's got his Bird Dogs on, he does not have to get up and worry about having clean underwear in his drawer. Right? That's the bottom line with Bird Dogs. They fixed this issue of shorts and comfort by inventing cloud knit fabric that looks just like khaki but stretches, so you get way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement. They also, you're gonna love this, they use anti-stink sweat wicking fabric, so that when Steven's out on Fort Lauderdale Beach in his Bird Dogs, it's pretty hot out there these days, but he doesn't stink because they have this anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. All right. So I told you that Bird Dogs, they come up, they're like a hip company, okay? And they come up with all these cool names for all of their stuff. So this like really cool shirt shows up. Let me show it on the screen here. Shows up in my mailbox. I mean, this is a killer polo, okay? I said, wow, this thing is really, really nice. All right. And then I look it up and I see that they've named it Gary's Anatomy. Okay, so what this polo has to do with my anatomy, I have absolutely no idea. But this is a really, like, the fabric is amazing.
You do know why they call it Gary's Anatomy, right? Tell me you know that.
I don't.
There was a TV show called Grey's Anatomy back in the day.
Oh, okay, so it's a play on Grey's Anatomy.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right, whatever. I couldn't believe I was like, this can't be real. Did they
They were not interested in your anatomy, Gary. Trust me. That's not. You thought they named it after your personal parts. It was not named after your personal parts. Okay.
I was almost crying when the package came and I saw that the shirt was called Gary's Anatomy. I'm like, did they really name this shirt after me? But then I looked it up on the website.
It's so weird. My shirt had its own name. It was called Only Run Third Down Defense. That was the name of my shirt.
All right, I'm done with that subject. Anyway, listen, folks, go to birddogs.com/CaneSport and check out all of their products. Okay, and if you enter that promo code CaneSport and you order from them, you will get one of these. And this is really, really nice. Okay, it is a Hydro Flask style water bottle. All right, and I'll open it up. Maybe you guys can see inside. It's a really nice, very high quality water bottle. If you go to birddogs.com/CaneSport and you put an order in, they will give you one of these water bottles absolutely free with your order. So that's birddogs.com, promo code CaneSport. Go order yourself some shorts. Go order yourself some Gary's Anatomy. This is a really nice polo shirt too, for those of you that like polo shirts. Nice white, comfortable polo. You will not take your Bird Dogs off once you have them. That
We promise you. So check them out, birddogs.com/CaneSport. Get your free water bottle. Get yourself some shorts and shirts. And they have hats and other different products. You will not be sorry. All right, Steven, now that we've got Bird Dogs, I should have told you to go to your closet and put on your Bird Dogs and come out and do a little modeling session for us. But maybe next time that Bird Dogs sponsors Good Morning CaneSport, I will give you an advance head up. I will say, Steven, today is the day for the Steven Wagner Bird Dogs fashion show. And hopefully everybody will be thrilled to death by that, seeing how you go hang out on Fort Lauderdale Beach. All right. Recruiting. All right. You got a big game, Hard Rock Stadium this weekend, Steven. The visit list is getting insane. Okay. It's already taken shape. We're sitting here on Tuesday morning. There's all kinds of big names that have already signed up to come to this game. How big of a recruiting experience is this going to be for Miami Saturday?
Well, two things before I start that, because one, I really wish that you would have told me that Bird Dogs was a sponsor, because I definitely would have called them and started pestering them for free merchandise. And two, we knew going into the fall that Miami was going to have two really, really major in-season recruiting events. That was going to be the Texas A&M game, and that was going to be the Clemson game. Other than that, Miami's home schedule this year, really not anything that's really going to blow you away. Not a lot of.
You're not feeling Louisville, huh?
I gotta say, I'm really not feeling the Cardinals. I'm not sure if I'm feeling Georgia Tech. No disrespect to the Cardinals or the Yellow Jackets, but probably not going to be. They're probably not going to be ranked opponents, I'm betting, whenever they roll into Hard Rock. But yeah, so going into the fall, we knew that Texas A&M and Clemson were really going to be big recruiting weekends and big recruiting events, and Miami's definitely going to try to maximize that. Texas A&M particularly, I think, is going to be a really, really big and a really, really important weekend, because this is supposed to be the weekend that Miami's able to roll out their new offense and their new defense and the revamped Hurricanes. They're supposed to be able to roll this out to their 2024, 25, 26 targets. Because when you look at Miami, when you look at Miami's recruits, the biggest thing that you see from so many of them is them coming out and saying, like, hey, I like Miami. I really do. They've caught my attention. The U is great. Coral Gables is awesome, but I need them to prove that they can win. I need them to prove that their talent on their respective sides of the ball is actually going to develop, and it's not just going to, basically go there and flop. Because whenever you look at how Miami has recruited, I mean, yeah, it's never really been at an elite level over the last really decade or so, but it's never been absolutely atrocious. Miami does have talent on this roster. There's 4 and 5 stars on this team. So there definitely is talent there. They just need to see that talent developed. But whenever I go to the Texas A&M visitor list and I look at the names that we're expecting, I'm just reading this off: 5-star, 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 4-star, 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 and I'm literally not halfway done with the list. This is going to be an absolutely massive recruiting weekend, and this is going to be a weekend that I'd say that Miami's stakes off the field are just as big as they are on the field. Because if this game ends up going the way that Miami hopes it can go, these 5-star, 4-star recruits, they're going to be sticking around after the game. Coaches are going to be in really great moods. You're going to see them be taken into the locker room for the post-game celebration and all that stuff. And this is going to be something that Miami's coaching staff is really going to want to capitalize on. What you don't want is you get there and the crowd's all charged up and Hard Rock's packing and it's rocking. And then the game goes south and you get a couple of recruits who lose interest early and, maybe they're not inclined to stick around for too long after the game. I think that would definitely be the worst case scenario. The best case scenario, Miami ends up blowing out Texas A&M and they're partying well into the night and everyone's missing whatever the Saturday night football games are this week. But yeah, this really is going to be as big a recruiting weekend as Miami is going to get before December, whenever we see the Canes make their big final December push. But yeah, we've already got 4 5-star recruits who we're expecting. We're expecting more than a dozen 4-star recruits, and then we're expecting a ton of other priority kids too. Like I said, Miami really gets 2 big in-season recruiting weekends this year, and that's going to be for the Texas A&M and Clemson games. And again, like I said, this really is as big a pressure-packed weekend as Miami could ask for from a recruiting standpoint.
All right, and we have a list of those kids on the website that you guys can go check out. It'll be growing as the week goes on. We will keep revising it, and we'll have a final list hopefully for you guys at the end of the week. But like Steven said, it is going to be star-studded. It's going to be all in, and you just got to hope that Miami is ready to put a good performance in against a good team, because they are all in. And what you don't want in a situation like this, you don't necessarily have to win. I think you guys would agree, but you can't look bad. Like, you have to be competitive. You have to, look like you are making progress as a program, and then let the chips fall where they may. So it's going to be a massive, massive recruiting day on Saturday, and we're looking forward to that. Another story that we have on the website this morning is an analysis on top 2024 prospects that remain very, very much on the radar for the Hurricanes. And this includes 5-star targets like Jeremiah Smith, who's currently an Ohio State commit, Ellis Robinson IV, a cornerback that's presently committed to Georgia, David Stone, a defensive lineman that recently committed to Oklahoma, and Aiden Breland, a defensive lineman out of California, who very much still has Miami on his radar. And then it goes on with 4-star guys like LJ McCray, Chris Cole. There are a lot of guys, Steven, that are still out there. Some are committed, but we feel they could be flip candidates as things get into the nitty-gritty in December. And then there's some that have not committed yet. Your general thoughts on what's left, what meat on the bone is left out there for Miami?
Well, when you look at the meat that's left on the bone, one of the first things that really stuck out to me whenever I was going through our spreadsheet and I was putting the list together was so many of these kids are committed, but Miami is still in play for them, absolutely. And there is a reality, or a reality exists, where Miami ends up successfully flipping these guys away from Ohio State, from Georgia, from wherever it may be, fill in the blank. I don't think Miami is out of the mix for anyone that is on that list. And keep in mind, these are all high school recruits too. These are 2024 high school products. I think we're going to see a very, very important next few weeks as some more announcements roll out. Chris Cole, a top, I believe he's top 50, somewhere around 50 or 51 in the On3 recruiting database. He's going to be committing on September 10th. Miami's in the mix up there, along with Georgia, USC, Tennessee, Virginia Tech, and I believe Penn State is up there as well. He's a major target. That's Rohan Marley's nephew. Then another guy who's closing in on a decision is Aiden Breland, the 5-star interior defensive lineman from Mater Dei out in California. He's a guy who Miami has been really, really high on for a very long time. They've had their sights set on him for a very long time. They brought him to campus a couple times over the spring. They got him to campus earlier this summer for an official visit. Miami's been pushing very, very hard for him. And while Oregon, I think, definitely is viewed as the favorite, and rightly so, Miami is not a program that should be overlooked there. And when I say that, I'm saying that it would not shock me if he ended up committing to Miami. Would I be a little bit surprised that he didn't go with one of his favorites, who at the moment I'd say is probably Oregon? Yeah, it would surprise me a little bit, but I don't think it would absolutely stun me if he picked Miami. And so we've got a lot of guys on that list, including some guys who are going to be at Saturday's game on that list. So definitely encourage you to go check it out. We've got a lot more detail there.
All right. So you got that. You guys got that stuff on the website to check out as well. So that's going to do it for this morning for Good Morning CaneSport. We thank you so much for starting out your day with us. If you like this show, like our YouTube channel, hit your subscribe button and like button. It helps us with the algorithms at YouTube. If you are not yet a subscriber to CaneSport.com, we have a big game special this week for $49.99. You get your first year. That's 50% off. Come on over. Your subscriptions allow us to do what we do every day to help hopefully make your fan experience better. So we appreciate it if everybody jumps on board at CaneSport.com if you're not already. So for Matt, kick my butt on first and second down because I'm not scheming defense till third down. And Stephen Bird Dogs Wagner, I'm Gary Ferman. I'm going to just go with my anatomy here and find a way to enjoy the day. And we'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a great day, everybody.